Hi, everyone. This is Anna, one of your consumer technology specialists at Mid-Continent Public Library. Today, we are going to take a look at the reading features in the Libby by OverDrive app. And what I mean by reading features is we are going to look at how a book displays and all the options available if I choose to read my ebook in the Libby app. So I'm in the Libby app and I'm on my shelf page, which is where I can see the books that I have checked out. If my app didn't open to this page, I just want to tap the books icon in the menu at the bottom of the screen to open this shelf page. And from here, I'm just going to look at this title. I can see when it's due, so I know that it's been checked out. I could also tap the word loans up here just below the word shelf, and that would take me to a page where I could see only the items I have checked out. The shelf page also sometimes shows holds if they're available to check out. It also shows magazines. So it's more of an overview of your account, and then the loans page is just going to be what you have checked out. But for today, we're just going to access our title right from here. So I'm going to tap Read With just to the right of the book cover. And now I'm getting an option to read with Kindle or Libby. I want to tap Libby, and that opens my book. If I haven't started reading the book, I'm going to see the cover on the right side of my screen, and then menus at the top and bottom of the screen. We're going to go ahead and look at the book's features, starting with this top menu, which is all about setting the appearance of the book on screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is open the book to a page of text so I can see how changing these settings affects the reading experience. So I need to tap in the middle of my screen. It doesn't matter exactly where, you just want to be outside of where the menus are at the top and bottom. And this should make the menus disappear. So it will hide the menus and allow me to see the book in full screen. And then I'm just going to use my finger to either tap or swipe from the right edge of my screen. And this is going to turn the page forward. So I will just tap or swipe till I get to a page with text. And now I'm just going to tap the middle of my screen again to bring those menus back up. The first icon in the upper right corner, it's the circle with lines that kind of look like a page. This icon allows me to change the page layout from 2 columns, which was how it defaulted, to 1 column. So when I tap the icon, my display immediately changes, and so I just have 1 page full of text rather than the 2 columns, and this icon now has changed to an icon with lines in 2 columns. So I can tap it again to switch back to those 2 columns. So basically, this icon lets me switch back and forth between whether I want 1 big column or 2 columns on my screen. And this may change depending on the orientation of the screen. Like if I'm holding it in landscape format, I might like the 2 columns. If I'm holding it in portrait format, I'm probably going to want just the one column, but that's a personal preference, so you can do it any way that works best for you. The A icon is where I can access my appearance settings. So here I can use this slider to change the size of the text. So I know changing the size of the text is one of the big draws some people have to using ebooks. So you can make it smaller, you can also make it bigger, and then if you do want or need the text to be bigger than the largest setting on the slider, there is a little toggle just below there that says it will include accessibility sizes, which just means I can make the text even larger if I need to. So if I toggle that on, it's going to add sizes to the larger side of my slider. And then we have lighting. So that's just beneath the text scale is what they call it, but the text size. Currently, I'm in the default lighting mode, which is a white screen with dark text. If I tap the bright option, it is pretty hard to see the difference, but it does make the screen slightly brighter than the default. This might be more noticeable when you are in a situation where you need the screen to be a little brighter, but I know to my eye, I hardly see the difference when I'm sitting just in a regular reading place. The sepia option will give everything kind of a brown or tan tone. Some people find that easier to read. And then the dark option is actually going to invert the colors and make the screen black with white text. So some people prefer that either if they're reading in the dark, or some people just find that it's not as straining to the eyes as some of the other settings can be. And then to get back to the default setting, I'm just going to tap whichever lighting style is selected again, and it will unhighlight it in the menu and revert the screen back to the default. And then below the lighting, I can change the font style of the text. So there are a few options here, and I can actually get even a few more options by tapping custom at the bottom of the list. And this is also where I can adjust the alignment of the text, the line spacing, and how heavy or whether I want the text to be bold or not bold. I personally have found that sometimes changing the line spacing to a wider line spacing with more space in between the lines, sometimes that makes it easier to read without needing to increase the text size or the text scale. So that's something that you might try, or you might find a combination of adjusting both makes the screen easier to read. And then when I'm done looking at this menu, I'm going to tap the top area of the screen above the menu options to close the menu. And then I am going to tap the center of my screen again just to bring my menus back up. And the next icon is the magnifying glass icon. This is where I can search the book. So this would be like a keyword search, or you might be able to search a phrase. And when you do search for a word, you're going to get results that show the chapter the word appears in, and then they are then numbered by their appearance within the book. So the number is the number of the item, like the second instance this word has shown up in the book, rather than like a page number or something like that. And I can just tap on each one of these results and it will take me to that page in the book so I can see the word highlighted. And then the last icon in the upper right corner is where I can access any bookmarks and highlights I make while I'm reading. So to add a bookmark, I'll just tap the upper right corner of my screen while the menu is closed. If the menu is open, I can tap just below the bookmarks and highlights icon. There's a little kind of flaggy icon. I can tap that to add a bookmark. If I want to highlight something in the text, I'm just going to hold my finger down on a word until it becomes highlighted. And then if I'm trying to highlight a phrase or a sentence or a paragraph, I can just drag my finger while still having it pressed to the screen to highlight more of the text. And then if I tap highlight from the menu that appears at the bottom of the screen, I can choose if I want to highlight it a specific color. I have a couple different color options. And then I can also, if I'm just highlighting one word, I can tap define and get a definition of the word if it's like a word I don't know or I'm unfamiliar with. And then there is also an option in this lower menu when I have something highlighted to do a search. And that's going to search for the word within the book. It's the same search that I could do with the magnifying glass in the other menu. So if I go back to that main menu, the features in the lower area of the screen, the other menu at the bottom, these features are all about interacting with the book itself. So I can see an icon of the cover of the book. I can also see what page or pages I'm displaying, as well as the total number of pages in the book. And just below that, it's going to display the chapter title, if there is one. And then under that, it does have a label for table of contents. I can tap there to open the table of contents. And here, I can tap any chapter to jump to the beginning of that chapter in the book. And if I tap the little down arrow that's the caret at the top of the list, that'll take me back to my main menu. So before we just tapped in the middle of our screen and that closed the menus completely, tapping the little down caret will bring us back to that previous menu. And on this menu, on the left and the right of where the table of contents is listed in the middle, I can see I do have little arrows and page numbers. And what these do is they allow me to jump to either the beginning of the previous chapter or the beginning of the next chapter. And then the page number lets me know how many pages I'm going to be jumping in the book if I do that. I can also move through the book using the slider that is just below all of these options. Each dark, thicker notch on the slider indicates a new chapter, and then each lighter, longer notch denotes a page. So if I'm trying to quickly find something that happened maybe a few pages back but still in the same chapter, I can use this to scroll to another page without having to either tap or swipe between every page to get to that other page. And then in the bottom left corner of this menu, I can jump back to the last place in the book that I was. Or if I tap on the icon in the bottom right corner, I'm going to get actually a list of the most recent places I've moved to throughout the book. So maybe I've kind of been jumping around and I want to go back 2 jumps ago. I'm going to want to tap the second listing underneath the one that says you are here. And then when I'm ready to leave the book, I do have in the upper left corner a back arrow and the word back. So that's my back button. And when I do tap back and leave the book, Libby is going to save my place. So the next time I come back and open the book, it will be open to the page that I left it on. So I don't have to add a bookmark for that purpose. You always can, of course, but it's not necessary. And really, we have just looked at all of the reading features that can be used in the Libby by OverDrive app. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you let us know by following our MCPL 360 page on Facebook and our MCPL MO channel on YouTube. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the live event, you can always find all of our videos on YouTube on one of our many technology-related playlists on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next time.